Ukrainian forces have disrupted Russian logistics and vehicle use in Pokrovsk, Donetsk Oblast, significantly slowing the pace of Russia's advance in the city, according to the Institute for the Study of War ISW. The ISW believes Russia is likely to take Pokrovsk and Myrnohrad, but the timeline and consequences remain uncertain. Amid the ongoing Russo-Ukrainian war, Russia has concentrated its recent efforts on seizing Pokrovsk to fuel its propaganda narrative of allegedly winning the war, despite suffering extremely heavy losses from relentless ground assaults and infiltration attempts by foot soldiers. The ISW reported that Ukraine's interdiction efforts are stopping Russian vehicle use and troop buildup in Pokrovsk, slowing their advance, which is likely slowing down Russia's rate of advance within the town. The rate of Russian advances in Pokrovsk began to decrease in early November, following several weeks of relatively faster movement into the town. A spokesperson for a Ukrainian brigade operating in the Pokrovsk direction said that Ukrainian interdiction of Russian ground lines of communication into the town has forced Russian troops to carry supplies on foot in teams of just 2 or 3. According to a Ukrainian drone battalion commander in the same area, Ukrainian forces have mined the roads repeatedly used by Russia to move heavy equipment into Pokrovsk. He added that Russian forces now rarely use armored vehicles to enter the town. Russian forces recently tried to bring in supplies and personnel using vehicles under cover of heavy fog from the south along the M30 Pokrovsk-Selidov highway. Russian military bloggers initially celebrated the attempt, but one later noted that footage showing Russian forces driving into Pokrovsk had actually exposed them to Ukrainian artillery strikes. This undermined Russia's ability to rely on vehicle-based logistics into the town. Russian forces continue their own interdiction efforts, targeting Ukrainian supply routes in the Pokrovsk direction. The Ukrainian drone battalion commander noted that Russian troops within Pokrovsk do not maintain solid defensive lines. A 15 to 20 kilometer kill zone near the Pokrovsk front line complicates logistics due to widespread drone threats. This area is saturated with tactical strike and reconnaissance drones that pose a major threat to any equipment or personnel moving through. The 20-kilometer-long kill zone in Pokrovsk is filled with the bodies of Russian soldiers and burned-out equipment. Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Oleksandr Syrsky, said that the situation in Donetsk region remains difficult. Units of the armed forces and other components of the defense forces of Ukraine continue to carry out tasks in the area of the Pokrovsk-Myrnohrad agglomeration. The general stated that during a trip to the Pokrovsk direction, he held a meeting with the command staff of military management bodies, military units and subunits regarding the situation and actions in designated zones. The enemy maintains high activity, which is countered by the clear interaction and coordination of our units. We clarified the results of defensive, search and strike, and assault operations aimed at stabilizing the situation and the order of their further execution, Syrsky noted. The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine emphasized that the main focus is on the comprehensive support of our grouping. In particular, he gave the necessary instructions regarding the priority supply of additional means of destruction. We are working on ensuring the sustainability of our logistics and taking measures to disrupt the enemy's logistical routes. The enemy is detected and destroyed both during attempts to move and in identified accumulation points, the general stated.
In Gaza, a makeshift wagon hitched to a rundown car carries a dozen people along a muddy, destroyed road flanked by mounds of debris. According to Associated Press, some residents pedal battered bicycles. Others cram into tuk-tuks, small three-wheeled motorized rickshaws commonly used across the Middle East, or cling to the back of pickup trucks. It's a transportation crisis. It takes us a long time to get to work, said one resident, Mohammed Kadib. Women clutch their babies as they climb onto donkey-drawn carts. A dump filled with the charred and twisted remains of cars and buses stretches into the distance. 2 years of bombardment have destroyed roads, vehicles, and key fuel infrastructure, leaving Gaza's transportation network near collapse. With most of the pre-war transportation system wiped out, and no new vehicles allowed into the strip, many areas are reachable only by improvised transport. It is a struggle we are enduring. I have back issues and they get worse when I ride a tuk-tuk, said Mohammed Hamouda, a displaced woman sitting in a tuk-tuk with 2 others. Fuel shortages remain one of the biggest constraints. In a report published in October, the United Nations Office for Project Services warned that deliveries into Gaza remain far below the minimum required to power hospitals, water systems, and basic civilian movement. Transportation used to be easier, especially for women, as we used to ride in cars, said Abir al-Nakla, a displaced woman from northern Gaza. We have to walk more because public transportation is scarce. We only have carts, and even those are difficult to find, she said.
احنا اليوم نعيش أزمة كتير كبيرة بالنسبة للمواصلات خصوصا يعني، وحاليا ما فيش عندنا سولار بيدخل كويس، المواصلات كتير سيئة، بنقعد وقت كبير لغاية ما الواحد يقدر يصل شغله.
المعاناة اللي احنا عايشينها هذه، كل واحد كان يركب سيارة زمان، قد كله على التكرات وعلى توك توك، وانا معي غداريف في ظهري ورقبتي، يعني كل ما طبة بتطب عليها التوك توك بأثر على ظهري، وهي المعاناة اللي عايشينها احنا.